Hi guys. I guess it just took me getting started again, and now there's just a flood of videos. So anyway, I'm going to do a way overdue review, and first I have to say a couple things. Number one, thank you to everyone who has commented on the last couple of videos. I am overwhelmed by the response and the kindness, and those are the kind of people that I know from online, and I'm grateful and humbled, and I enjoy every one of you, and thank you for watching, thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for coming back and being kind and just neat people. I appreciate it. Number two, I need to apologize to Laurie. Laurie from Plannerisms sent me one of her Plannerisms planners a really long time ago, and this is an incredibly overdue review. My sincerest apologies. But let's get to it. This is the Plannerisms Planner. I'm not going to go through everything that's in it because Lori has done the best job of that herself, and I will link that underneath for you. If I forget to do it right away, I promise that I'll go back and get that done, but I'll get that linked for you here. The best place to find out about these, if I screw up, or if the link should for some reason not work, the best place to find out about these is plannerisms.com. All of you that I know are already following Lori on Plannerisms, and I'm sure you're following her on Twitter, so I know you know where to go for this anyway. So this was the 2013 Plannerisms Planner. They started in January, right? Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do about this is, even when people send me things for review, you guys, I'm happy to review stuff, but people have to know that I'm going to tell you the things that I love about it, the things that I like about it, the things that are personal preferences, and then the things that I think could be improved or should be improved, okay? So I'm always going to tell the truth one way or the other. So if somebody sends me stuff to review, they have to know that I'm going to tell you how I feel about it, and my pluses may not be yours, or my minuses might not be yours, so just keep that in mind. And the things that I like reviews like that because I like to hear what people say, because it may or may not make or break a product for me, because something they like or dislike may be the opposite for me, but it gives me a better picture of the product, I think. So anyway, so here we go. So this was the 2013 planner, so I'm going to go through the things that I think are really fantastic about this planner, the things that for me are not my preference, and the things that I think could make this planner wonderfully fabulous planner. So this was the pink. Obviously they have a really neat shimmer to them, which is really nice. I get tired of the plain old black notebook. I buy them often because they're the ones that are most often on sale, and it's not a deal breaker for me in a notebook, but in a planner certainly I like something that's a little bit different and has some color to it. And it's also easy to see in your bag. If you carry another notebook of this size, if you carry a Moleskine or a Piccadilly or whatever brand you carry, it made this really easy to see in your bag. One of the things, it was soft, it's got a nice feel to it. So this is, for me, I'll explain in a second, a plus and a minus, but it was a softer cover. It's flexible, it's not, it's not going to bend all the way around and bend back on itself or anything, but it was nice and flexible, which for me is a plus and a minus. I really like that, but it also made it a little bit difficult if I wasn't on a hard surface because you can see if you're trying to write and it's bending, that's a little frustrating, and that frustrates me with the Maldens too, but that may not be an issue for you at all. The thing that I was not fond of with this is, do you see the scratches? It scratched really easily, and those didn't come out. So I don't know if that's a function of, you can see on the back as well, a function of it being flexible or just a function of the surface on this planner. But at any rate, it's very pretty. The flexible is cool. The colors were cool. It came in this, an aqua, a purple, and a black, as I recall. The elastic has an elastic like regular notebooks do, and this is a decent elastic band. It's not one of those that gets as loose as an elephant's pantyhose over the year. So it was a pretty good elastic. The size of this is fabulous. It's nice and thin. That was an entire year planner. Look at that. Nice and thin. And sometimes I think thin may be a compromise, and I'll discuss that a little bit later, because it would have been my preference to have it a little bit thicker and have some note pages in the back. But this is a really portable, handy size. So it came with 2 ribbons in it, and this is nothing about her planner. It was really cool because there was a pink ribbon and a black ribbon. You can see where I've trimmed them out. This has absolutely nothing to do with this planner. I just don't care for those ribbons. I flag the pages that I'm trying to mark, and I cut them out of everything. It's not just hers, so that's only personal preference. So the inside pages, this was just some videos about video game collecting. That's nothing interesting. I was lucky enough, isn't that awesome, to get it signed by Laurie herself. The inside was plain, so there was space here if you put stickies or whatever. Had a nice quote here from Mark Twain. Got right into personal information pages. And then the reference calendar, it didn't waste a lot of pages. The reference calendar for 2013 and 2014, which is nice. And then it got right into goals for this year. So this was really cool, and this was really unique to Laurie's planner. And there's lots of space. And don't judge because mine are blank. Then it had quarterly goals, so you could break them down into quarters. It had a year planner, international holidays, international direct dialing, conversions, weights and measures. I would much rather have, that's nice to have if you use that. I don't. I would much rather have had note paper. And then there was a really neat how to use this planner. And I like it when people do this in either the front or the back or an insert and not mess up your pages with every single week or every single month with, again, how to use this planner. I get it. I get what you're saying. Let it go. I don't like when people do that. Anyway, her months were all in the front, and they were all together. So this is not my personal preference. I guess it's convenient if you're doing future planning, but the nice thing about this is it's 2 pages, and then you have this nice notes area, and it goes from top to bottom. So you could either have written, you know, notes for this week that you could follow across, or what have you, or notes all the way down, goals, whatever came to you. The paper in this thing, I have 2 things to say about the paper. Number one, it's fabulous. It takes fountain pen ink really well. I'm sure that on that first month I used a fountain pen. That right there I believe is fountain pen ink, but it was virtually fountain pen proof. You can see some shadowing. It's right there on the back side. That's not bleed through, that's just show through, and I don't have issues with that. So it's smooth, it's fountain pen proof, it's wonderful, wonderful paper. I'm sorry. So the paper is fabulous, however, it's also not white. This makes me crazy in planners. I have a penchant for white paper, and I don't like it in notebooks either. It's very hard to find, and very few planner companies make stark white paper, and I don't know why. I don't know if it costs more because of the bleaching process or what. I'm just a fan of white paper, particularly in something that I use fountain pens in, but most notebook makers don't make white paper anyway. And this is not an offensive ivory to me. I wish I could show it to you better, but it's not offensive like the Rhodia Webbies or that gross apricot color. I don't have any issues with this color. It's light enough to be okay. So then in between the months, interleaved, are the June goals. So here's June, here's the June goals. So they were interleaved with the months, which is nice. So she's got the months, and then the month goals interleaved with the months. So, you know, that's not my personal preference, but it's okay. It certainly didn't stop me from using it. And I did use this for a while. I don't know. We'll talk about why I stopped using it, I guess. She has the day, in this planner, the days are in columns, which is genius. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed that until Laurie pointed out the benefits of having the days in columns. And then after I had the Erin Condren planner, before Laurie came out with these, I decided that if I was ever going to do a week again, it would have to be days and columns because I absolutely love the format. There's this wonderful note space here. There's one thing, and there's note space at the bottom too, which is genius. So you have note space here, and you have note space at the bottom. I kind of wish they had made the days a little bit shorter so there was more note space. Maybe if they had gone up to 1/3 of the page, you know, 2/3 of the page had been the days, and then 1/3 of the page had been the note space. But I think it's adequate. I just wish that and that's just a personal preference. You know, I didn't have a problem with that. Obviously, I don't have a whole bunch of notes, you can see. And the days aren't full, so there really is quite a lot of space in this. And the days, another really fantastic thing about this is the days are lined. So it makes it really easy to put check boxes in there or just write neatly because the days are lined for you. One thing that is more of a personal preference, I wish that this had also been lined, but also that they had not put this stuff at the top of every page, because I use these spaces at the tops of days a lot of times, and when you put something on the top of every page, I think that's a waste of space. The first couple of weeks I might be inspired at it or whatever, but I don't like it on a consistent basis. That's one of the things that has bothered me a lot in a couple of other planners I've talked about in my videos. But I think the format of this is so unique and just so smart. This was a really smart thing to do. I think they could have done a couple of things to make it better, but you know, it's really unique, you guys. There's not another planner on the market that's like this, certainly not in the bound format. There's some wasted space here at the side. I don't know if it's just a huge extra cost to push the margins all the way out, because you would have had some extra note space there, and you still do. You can still write from here to there, but for some people I know that's going to drive you nuts that there's no gray shading here, but the gray shading starts right here. And then this one, they could have made all of the days a little bit wider if they had pushed this margin all the way out. You know, I don't know, perhaps that costs more. Another neat thing is that the month is printed in the bottom for you, so whatever month you're using the week here in, the month is printed down here at the bottom for you, so you don't have to flip all the way to the front of the book to use that. And I think in a couple of weeks, I don't know if I've done that in this planner or not, I don't think that I have, is I'll take and I'll use this month. What I'll do is I'll circle, in my monthly calendars I do use a little bit of color coding. I use red and green. So I'll circle paydays in green. I'll circle dates that bills automatically come out in red. So that can be handy too, because you can see where your paydays fall versus where your bills fall. In the back, let me get to the back, I'm sorry, give me just a second, is a year planner for 2014. That's super handy. So if you're planning ahead, you get to December, or even in the middle of the year, sometimes you know what things are coming or whatever. You can, at a minimum, see what's coming and what days things fall on, what days holidays and birthdays fall on. There's a really cool annual review. There are some really, excuse me, I'm sorry, really innovative things about this planner that I love. Annual review. And you know, in the month things too, you could use that space at the end of the month where it says goals. Let me get back to the months. So it has 2 pages of October goals. You could use the second page for monthly reviews. So you could do your goals, because do some of you have 2 pages worth of goals for a month? That seems incredibly ambitious. My God. If you do, let me know what you're doing and what you're doing right, because I want to do it too. Wow, that would be awesome. There's no way I could pack that much. I'm a single mom and I work. I can't accomplish 2 pages worth of goals in 1 month. But you know, maybe I guess if you're taking notes for your goals, or if you're tracking them on these pages or whatever. But you could use that second page or part of that second page for a month in review, and that would be cool. So in the back, there's that annual review. And there's 2 pages. There's a 2-page spread for that. So left side, right side. This is what breaks my heart. There's 2 pages for notes. Oh, goodness. I wish there were more. I wish there were about 10 pages for notes. You know, even if there were another couple, I would be happier about it. Here's a biography about Laurie. Very, very interesting. Laurie's had a very interesting life. Area code, U.S. area code map. Now this really is useful. The area codes, and then it shows the time zones. I find the time zones incredibly useful for when I'm trying to figure out if somebody's around or times to call or whatever. That really is useful. A world map, always useful to have one world map in here. I'm going to show you the back of this, but you cannot judge. Got it? Or I'm going to quit showing you guys things. So if you send me messages teasing me about this, I'll never show you the inside of my stuff again. The back of this, and yes, that's a pasted on picture of Jeremy Wade. Just move past it. I tell my kids all the time, I have this thing for Jeremy Wade, and it's not just because I find him attractive. I do, but I find him attractive because of certain qualities he possesses. So let's move past it, okay? She's got a pocket in the back. It's really handy. Inside this pocket is a really wonderful removable address book. So this is a really innovative thing as well, and it was genius. It was absolutely genius, because once you get most address books filled, you rarely have to redo one. And one of the things that I don't like doing every time I get a new planner is redoing address books. And these are handy too. You could also stick it in the back if you're using this and a Filofax, or if you're moving back and forth, or if you quit, whatever. You can always take this part with you, and it's not a big deal. It's very slim. I don't know how many pages are in it, but it's certainly plenty adequate. On each page there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces for addresses, and it's really nice too because a lot of times I find there's not enough room to put everything you need to for somebody. So on this side you have plenty of room to put their name and address. Sometimes, you know, addresses that aren't in the U.S., that are out of the country, are longer than U.S. addresses. So there's plenty of room, and then on the other side there's plenty of room for numbers. There's home, office, cell, fax, email, and below the email line there's a couple of extra lines there. So there's plenty of room. This is a really nice address book. It's really well done. And then you could put other papers and what have you in the pocket. I almost wish they'd done a pocket in the front too, but that's easily remedied if that's something you enjoy. Adding a pocket is one of the easiest things you could possibly do. So I really think that on the whole this thing is absolutely fantastic. I'm not entirely sure why I quit using it. I couldn't honestly tell you that. Except that I have not historically been good at keeping weekly planners. Historically it works better for me, or weekly calendars. Historically it has worked better for me to have a monthly and then a daily. So I suspect that that was it, because there's nothing about this planner, guys, that is a break-it deal for me. Nothing. I really, really like it. There are things that I wish that had been done a little bit differently, but there's nothing that I absolutely hate. There's nothing that I just don't like at all. It was really well done, and it's incredibly innovative for the market, and I desperately hope that they're doing them again for this next year, because I really think that it was a very good product, an excellent value for your money. It has held up well. There's nothing about this planner that's a break-it deal for me, absolutely nothing. And I think that the reason that I stopped using it is, like I said, that historically weekly planners have not been my thing, and that's simply a matter of preference. If you like weekly planners, if you like nice paper, if you want something small and portable, I highly recommend this. It has a lot of innovative ideas inside of it, and the ideas that Lori has implemented into this planner and designed into this are born of years and years and years of research and using and working with things and creating better ways of doing things, and so it's completely successful on that front. The one thing that I wish that they would do, and I understand why they haven't, I'm sure it makes it more costly, is add more note paper. And I think that all of us that use bound planners struggle with the whole list idea, right? Because there's not enough room in a bound planner to do your lists properly. But there's a solution to that. You carry a compact Filofax with you, or you carry a personal Filofax, and you do different things with it than you do with your bound planner or your bound journal. And that's just the way it is. It's very difficult to get the one book to rule them all. So there's an easy solution to that. Or, you know, it's very easy to washi tape pages into something. And I've done it in more than one thing. You just washi tape an extra page into it. It's no big deal. So it's a really easy remedy. So anyway, I highly, highly recommend this. If you have not purchased one, give it a try. If you like weekly planners, it's an excellent, excellent choice. Anyway, again, I'm sorry it was so late. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, comments, whatever, let me know there below. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you soon.